So, when should you run ads for your CPA and accounting firm, bookkeeping firm, CFO firm, financial service, whatever kind of firm that you've got? Now, I have a couple people asking me this when they should run paid ads, and I think I know exactly where it comes from. Is they're doing outreach, they're doing the content part, but they hate it and they are getting tired of it. They're getting burnt out, which what I would say is I 100% agree. I know what that's like. I've done it before. I used to do Twitter and Instagram cold DMs. I would send 100 a day, and back when Instagram limited it to 50, I would have separate accounts and I would send like 50 each account, and I'd have like 3 or 4 accounts, I think. And yeah, I got like little to no results. I did get results, but little to no results. The best thing about that is that every client that you did get, it came free in terms of money, but it cost a lot of time. I would spend probably 2 hours a day just doing cold DMs. So understandable when people ask me, when should I run paid ads? Can I run paid ads now? Does it make sense? It's smart, blah, 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 blah. So what we're gonna do is I've got a whiteboard laid out with a couple things that we need to answer before you even think about paid ads. And really, in all reality, it's not as bad as you think. Now, okay, ignore the storm that's going out right now. Yeah, that tree's gonna bust right through this window. Anyways, for those of you that don't know, I'm based out of Canada, and right now there's a mini little snowstorm, and it's kind of annoying because last week it was like plus 10 degrees, nice and sunny, and I loved it. I was getting really happy and really excited for summer. A couple days later, we have this. So, welcome to Canada and high taxes. No. High taxes makes a good business for us accountants. So, anyways, I'm gonna pull up the whiteboard. So we're gonna jump on the whiteboard right now, and we're gonna go through those 3 points. Welcome to the when to run paid ads for your CPA firm, accounting firm, bookkeeping firm, whatever. Whoa, Boppo keeping. If you run a Boppo keeping firm, this is for you. I'm just kidding. Anyways, alrighty. So, first thing to consider is you got to consider what your budget is. Okay. A lot of people come in thinking that they are going to just spend $10 a day on ads and they're going to get results. That is not the case. Okay. Running ads is pay to play. So if you're going to run ads, you need to have a budget and you need to be able to actually afford that budget. Now, what I mean by that, what I always recommend and what I always do is if I'm running a new campaign or a new funnel or something like that, I always start with a minimum budget of $100 a day, okay, or $2,500. Whoops, that should not say a day. That should say a month. So $100 a day or $2,500 a month, and you need to be able to run this for at least 2 to 3 months. So what I would say is have a budget of $9,000 at least. Okay. Now the reason why is because you need time for testing. All right. If you don't give your ads enough time for testing, then you're never going to know if the ads actually work or if they're good. A lot of people run ads, and after about a month of seeing no results, not a single deal closed, they start panicking and they start freaking out. They turn the ads off and they say the ads are a complete scam. Okay, ads are not a complete scam. I use them. I make a very good return on my ad spend, and guys, like there are multi-billion-dollar companies who run ads. Okay, if ads truly didn't work and if ads just lost you money and they were just a scam, Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, they would not be using ads. Okay, so you need time for testing, um, and you also have to give it time for the sales cycle. Like I said, people run ads for 2 weeks, a month, maybe 6 weeks, and they don't sign a single deal, and they think that ads are a scam, and they shut it down. You're just not giving it enough time to actually produce a result. There is such a thing as a sales cycle with every single lead, and every single lead's different. I talk about this a lot in my other videos where I had a deal come in. I launched an ad or a funnel campaign last year in January, and this lead came in, I think end of January, start of February. They didn't book in a call until March, and they didn't actually close until September or October, roughly near the end of the year there. So that sales cycle was roughly 10 months. And what I've seen for me is bank on 1 to 6 months for a sales cycle for a high end tax service. Usually, if I'm doing like a regular tax, like corporate tax package, it's about a 3 month sales cycle because there's just a bunch of different factors that you've got to take into play. What you're selling should not be a cheap thing. Okay, if you're selling anything under $3,000, you're probably ripping yourself off for corporate tax planning or corporate services. Um, and when someone's making a purchase of that size, they've got to think about it. They got to weigh out their options, and people are busy. Sometimes they don't think about it for about 2 weeks or a month or whatever. One good thing about accounting and tax is you've got the government on your side to force these leads to have to file and have to make a decision. So that's one good thing. It doesn't sound good, but that is a good thing. So what do I mean by once you know, you know? Once you know what works, who cares what ads cost because they work. If I know that I can get a 2x return on my ads, I'm trying to dump as much money in that campaign as possible. Now, look, let's say if I have a 4x return on my ad spend, it does not mean that I'm just going to go ahead and drop 10 grand on that ads and make $40,000 back right now. Okay. I'm going to increase it gradually, maybe increase it $5 a day, $10 a day, $20 a day in ad spend. So that's what I mean by once you know, you know, and usually you will know after the 2 to 3 mark is you'll find out roughly what works and what doesn't work. So that's what you need for budget. Moving on to number 2, right now or wait. Now, what I see people saying is don't start running ads until your concept is proven. Don't start running ads until you have enough organic coming through. Don't start running ads until you know that your offer works or something like that. I understand where those people are coming from. If you're offering like a coaching product or a coaching service, 100% get it, and you're just starting, like you're brand new. I probably wouldn't run ads unless if I just had a bunch of money where I didn't really care. I wouldn't run ads because I don't know if that coaching program works. I don't know if people like it. I don't know if people want it. But if we're being honest, we are offering tax and accounting, something everybody needs. Everybody may not want it, but everybody needs it. At some point in their life, they will need it and they will want it too. But when you're offering a service like that, I think that concept of you need to know and you need to prove it organically before you run paid ads, I don't think that's true. And I don't think that's necessary for our service simply because um, like I said, you quite literally and legally need to file your taxes. How are you going to file your taxes? You're going to either do it yourself or you're going to get an accountant like you to do it. I can guarantee you, you're not doing it yourself. And if you are, 99% of the time, the person messes it up. Where then they then realize, oh shit, I actually do need to hire a CPA, hire a bookkeeper, whatever. So should you wait until you're proven with organic? No, I don't think you should. I think you should continue to do organic because organic, it's just free. It's essentially free money. It costs you nothing to run, costs you nothing to do videos, record stuff, post stuff. It costs you nothing. Okay, so still do the organic, but should you wait? Absolutely not. If you've got that $9,000 budget over 3 months, then I would say honestly just run ads right now. Okay, next thing, because there is one more last thing, is you need a software or people. Okay. Now, you need to manage all of your leads. Okay, when you start running ads, you are going to get leads. I can guarantee you, you will get leads. They may not be ready to buy right now, perfect cash liquidity, whatever leads, but they are leads. Okay, they will buy at some point. You need a system to house those leads, to manage them, to nurture them, and to take care of them, and to update them around the clock. Uh, I use a software, and that software was nurturing that lead that I told you opted in to my funnel end of January, start of February. opted in, booked a sales call in March because they kept getting emails, text reminders, updates, notes, or notifications. And then after that sales call, they got put into a different sequence where I sent them different types of content, emails, videos, where then after going through all that stuff, they then felt ready to move forward, and then they moved forward in September or October, roughly around the end of the year. So you need something to manage that, because if you don't do it with software, you're going to do it manually, and I recommend you not do that. But if you are, you got to have people. So you got to have a sales rep, you got to have an assistant or something like that. I would obviously recommend software. It's going to be cheaper, and you can put as much stuff inside of the software as possible. Doesn't really matter. One other thing is reporting and ad spend tracking. This is very important. Now, you need to track all of this stuff, okay? Because if you're not tracking, you're just guessing, and you could be effectively just wasting money. And obviously, as accountants, we're not here to waste money. We're here to make money, okay? So that's the last thing to consider is you need a software or you need people. 99% of you are going to be better off opting in for a software. The only time that I would recommend you do a person is if you've got an employee maybe sitting there that you don't want to get rid of, put them to work doing it. But honestly, I would say just stick with the software. Okay, software is going to be cheap. It's going to be less than $500 a month, and if you can just close one deal a month, which is very doable, software pays for itself. Doesn't really matter. And I mean, come on, it's 2026. Okay, you need a software to manage all of your sales, your pipelines, your nurturing system, and yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Those are the three things that you need to consider before you start running paid ads for your CPA, accounting, bookkeeping firm. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it on what to consider before you run paid ads for your accounting business, your CPA firm, bookkeeping firm, whichever you've got. If you're considering running paid ads, take these factors into consideration. Hopefully it sheds some light on that. If you guys thought that this video was helpful and good, go ahead and drop a like on it and comment down below the next type of video that you guys want to see me make. This channel is going to be based around growing and scaling your current accounting business, CPA firm, bookkeeping, CFO, overall financial services. So if you guys want to learn more on how to grow and scale that, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.